Greetings all, it's Blue Knight, and welcome to a different kind of video than what you're probably used to. This is gonna be a discussion on something that's very major to Persona 3 FES. I'm gonna be going over what it is, and how I plan to tackle this specific aspect of the game. The answer may not be what you want to hear slash expect to hear, but I do have my reasons why I am going to be taking this approach. So if you've never played Persona 3 FES or even experienced this version of the game, there are two story modes that you can choose from. What we went through in the main series is known as the Journey, which is what we went through in the Let's Play, which was the big story that we experienced. The second one is called The Answer. This follows up on what happens after what went down in the journey. And the main character for this is Aigis. It was kind of alluded to near the end of the journey when they were all in that mysterious space location. And that familiar voice, which I'm pretty sure we all figured out was Ryoji, did mention something about Aigis finding her answer to life, something like that. And they go into great detail on what that is here. In fact, in the Japanese version, this story is also known as Episode Aigis, so it's very clear that she is the main character. I'm gonna go into not too much detail on what the answer is about. I'm gonna give a brief introduction on what goes down while trying to keep spoilers to a minimum. So like I said, the answer is a continuation of what happened after the main story, when Makoto passed away after keeping his promise on meeting everybody on graduation day. This continuation starts a few weeks after graduation day did go down on March 31st to be precise. The dorm is scheduled to close down soon, and it looks like that FES is going to disband shortly after that as well. It's shown in one of the early cutscenes of this story that the gang has all of their FES armbands and their evokers gathered. So that's a clear indication that the group is going to be abolishing their shadow operations. Also, Aigis announces to the group that she won't be enrolling in Gecko High as a senior. So things have been going a little rocky for the group after what happened at the end of the journey. Nonetheless, the people who are at the dorm decide to throw a party for old time's sake. But when that happens, they feel something wrong occur, but they end up brushing it off thinking it was just nothing. That is not the case, as the dorm does get attacked later on by a mysterious figure who we later come to know is Metis, a robot that was designed to kill shadows, much like the reason why Aigis was manufactured. Because she was manufactured in a later lineup of the anti-shadow weapons, Metis refers to Aigis as sister, kind of like an older sibling is how she sees Aigis. When the two robots fight, Aigis' persona goes through a massive change. During mid-battle, it changes from Athena to Orpheus, which, if you remember, is the persona that Makoto awakened to the night that he discovered his persona power. Aigis is then transported to the Velvet Room, where she meets Igor and Elizabeth. From them she learns that she's able to use the wildcard ability, which is the way that Makoto was able to switch between personas during our adventures in Tartarus. Afterwards, the group begins to interrogate Metis as for why she attacked them in the first place and why she's at the dorm at all. They learn from Metis that what they experienced earlier was a time skip, and that they're essentially living March 31st over and over again in an endless loop. Metis shows them a dungeon that's been hidden below the dorm, that could be the cause to why this endless loop is happening. This is known as the abyss of time. The only way to restore time back to normal is to investigate and eradicate this abyss, whatever it may hold. And that's all I'm gonna go into detail as far as the story of the answer is concerned. I actually decided some time ago that I was not gonna be going through the answer as part of the Let's Play. There are a few reasons why. To start, the answer is set to hard by default, and this could take upwards to 30 hours on average to complete. Now, that may not sound too difficult at first, but there's very little content that the answer has compared to the journey. Where you're playing through this campaign, there aren't any social links or any requests to do for Elizabeth. The only thing you can do in the answer is pure dungeon crawling, and you're gonna do a lot of grinding if you're going through this campaign. The enemies here can be very strong, so if you're not prepared and take the time to invest in grinding, you're gonna have a brutal time going through this story. But if you take the time to invest in the grinding, then you are able to get through the difficulty and get to the story pieces, which is really the only reason why you should play the answer. That's provided if you're really hooked into the story of Persona 3 in general. Or you could just look up the countries online. I honestly wouldn't blame you if you do that. We live in an age where all sorts of information lies at our fingertips, so you're not really missing out too much if you want to look them up online. Just playing the game means you'll have to earn getting to those story pieces. So due to the nature of the answer, how it's handled, I didn't want to completely rule it out in terms of showcasing it. So I decided to reach a bit of a compromise. I won't do a complete video series on this as part of the Let's Play, but I have decided that this might be suitable for live streaming. Which brings me to the other big thing that I want to talk about in this bonus video. I feel like the answer is very suited for streaming since there's not a lot of content that lies in this mode, but I feel like if I can handle it well enough with the grinding and the dungeon crawling, then I think this could make for a pretty okay experience to show the entire thing live. Plus, getting to interact with the people in chat would make things a little more bearable. So I really want to use the answer as more of a gateway for me to get onto Twitch someday. The reason why I say someday is I don't have a clear window on when I want to start streaming on Twitch. The laptop that I use for making videos, I barely trust with recording and editing as it is. I am very positive that if I try to use this thing for live streaming, I would end up pulling my hairs out. So, streaming is gonna have to be something that will be placed on the back burner for the time being. But it is something I want to do someday. And that's not the only thing I want to cover in the realm of Persona 3. I've mentioned the portable version time and again when we were going through the main series, and that's something I do want to showcase too someday. The main reason why I want to play portable on Twitch is that in that game, you can choose from 2 people to play as the main protagonist. Of course, there's Makoto we can play as, but there's also a female protagonist that we can choose from as well. She's mainly referred to as either Femc or as Minako Arisato. And I really want to play as her because of her social links. Femc's social links are much different than Makoto's links. as you get to interact with different people if you choose to play as Monaco. And I've never gotten a chance to play a Max Social Link run in Portable as FEMC. I only got as far as early to mid-May before I stopped. So it would be a bit of a blind playthrough if I got to play as FEMC for the social links, but the whole Tartars thing has been left untouched. In fact, there are a few changes I remember in this version of the game that makes the whole Tartarus adventuring a little easier if I have to be honest. If you ask me, when it comes to the dungeon crawling gameplay of Persona 3, I say Portable is the best one to go with. But like I said, I mainly want to play this version of Persona 3 just for the social links because I have very little experience with them as Banako. So those are my early plans to get into Twitch streaming. Like I said, I don't know when I'll be able to do this. If I have to give an honest time window for this, it might end up being years down the line. I really don't think I'll be getting a new machine anytime soon. I've been meaning to get one for the longest time, but you know, money's not that easy to come by. So this is something that will be placed on the back burner, but I do want this to happen someday. I just hope I don't take so long that Twitch ends up being an obsolete thing. That's my biggest concern. Now that I've got that out of the way, I want to address something else. Something that I wasn't honestly expecting to bring attention to, but it's made things a little difficult when it comes to making more of these bonus videos. Honestly, this is gonna be the only bonus video related to Persona 3 that's gonna be available for a long time. Like with most RPGs, Persona 3 does have a New Game Plus where you do beat the story for the first time. I was playing through that to get the last few things that I wanted to cover prepared. I ended up realizing that playing through the game again is gonna take a little more time than I expected. Mainly for the compendium and the last few requests that we haven't gone over yet. In order to fuse the strongest personas I can for the compendium, I have to complete all the social links again to make sure that the compendium will be at its strongest. And that's gonna take some time to get through. Even with New Game Plus, when I'm trying to speed through everything as fast as I can, it's gonna take some time for me to get that prepared. That's been the main snag I came across when I was getting stuff ready for the bonus content. And with school starting up again, that's given me even less time to put attention towards playing through Persona 3 again. So that's why I decided to delay the rest of the bonus videos for a later time. I also think it wouldn't be fair if I had to delay working on my next series just so I could put more focus onto P3. So as much as I would love to get the rest of the bonus stuff prepared, I can hold that off for another day. With that being said, thank you all very much for sticking by with me through this very lengthy endeavor. I know that it was a heck of a time we had with Persona 3 FES, but it's one of my favorite games of all time. I'm very glad that I got to experience it once again and to make new memories along the way with all of you. I do not regret this one bit, even though it did take me exactly 1 year to finish. I think it was a year well spent. I hope to see you all back here again when I do have my next series ready to go. I know I did say I started working on it, but I have a bit of a ways to go before that's completely prepared. But rest assured, it is coming, and it's coming sooner, much rather than later. So until that time comes, Farewell for now, and I'll see you soon.